Okay, so down in Pensacola, Florida, things are really heating up over a Christmas-themed drag show. It's become the center of a major showdown. You've got the state's top lawyer demanding they cancel it, but the city, well, the city's refusing to back down. Let's get into what's going on.
And right off the bat, you can tell this is not just some minor disagreement. This is the opening shot from Florida's Attorney General, James Uthmeier. Calling the show demonic and sexually explicit, he's not mincing words. He's setting the stage for a massive legal and political battle, and he's demanding the show be canceled, period.
So, how did we get here? How did this escalate into such an intense holiday showdown? Well, to understand that, we need to look at the key players involved. All right, so here's the basic setup. There's this show, A Drag Queen Christmas, which is a pretty popular national tour. Feature stars from RuPaul's Drag Race. They booked a date at the Sanger Theater. But here's the catch. The theater is owned by the city of Pensacola. And that little detail puts the city council right in the crosshairs of the attorney general.
So you've really got three corners in this ring. On one side, you have Attorney General James Uthmeier, and he's using the full weight of his office to try and stop this show. Right in the middle is the Pensacola City Council. They own the venue, and they are refusing to budge. And then, of course, you have the performers themselves, who are defending their art and their right to perform.
Okay, so what is the Attorney General's actual case here? Let's dig into the specific legal arguments he's making to try and get this show shut down.
And this is the absolute core of his legal argument. Uthmeier isn't just saying he doesn't like the show. No, he's framing it as an anti-Christian event that actively mocks religion. By calling it city-sanctioned religious mockery, he's really raising the stakes, suggesting the city itself could be guilty of religious discrimination by letting it happen.
And look, you have to understand, this letter isn't just him airing his personal feelings. It's a list of formal allegations. He's claiming the show mocks Christianity, that it's a threat to the community's moral fabric, and that it could expose kids to harmful content. And he wraps it all up with a very clear warning to the city. Cancel it or get ready for further legal scrutiny.
And the language he uses to make this case? Wow, it is incredibly vivid. The letter paints this picture of garish women in demonic costumes, and even speculates that they might expose themselves to kids at some nearby Christmas festival. That wording is clearly designed to get a very strong emotional reaction.
Okay, so you've heard the Attorney General's side. How are the city and the performers themselves responding to these pretty serious claims? Let's flip the coin and hear their side of the story.
And this is a really interesting point coming directly from one of the performers, Lexi. She's basically saying, hey, men in costumes or dresses are part of all kinds of performances, even religious ones like a nativity play. Her point is that the real issue here for the critics isn't the costumes, it's the fact that it's drag. She's calling it a clear double standard.
And then you have the official response from Pensacola Council member Charles Baer. And he is not getting into a debate about morality. Instead, he just dismisses the Attorney General's letter as nothing more than a personal opinion that was improperly written on government letterhead. He even goes so far as to accuse him of wasting taxpayer money.
All right, let's zero in on what has become, the real flashpoint of this whole debate, the potential impact on children.
Now, this is an absolutely critical piece of context you need to know. The show itself, A Drag Queen Christmas, is officially marketed as an 18 and over event. So the organizers and supporters argue that this whole debate about protecting children doesn't really apply because kids aren't even supposed to be there.
But, and this is a big but, the whole situation gets a lot messier because of this. A video started circulating from a completely different event in Orlando. That one was described as family-friendly, and it showed a pretty explicit performance with what looked like kids in the audience. Now, it's a separate event, but critics are using it to fuel the fire and raise concerns about drag shows in general.
So you've got the state's top lawyer threatening legal action, the city digging in its heels. Where does that leave us? What's the status of the show right now?
This timeline really lays out how this whole thing snowballed. It started with some local complaints back in September, then it absolutely blew up with the Attorney General's letter. And it's all leading to a showdown on the show's scheduled date, December 23rd. As of right now, the city is holding firm, and the show is still a go.
When you strip everything else away, this entire fight really boils down to two completely different solutions.
The Attorney General says the only way forward is to cancel the whole event to protect public decency and Christian values. But the show's advocates say the solution is way simpler. It's a private event for paying adults. If you don't like it, just don't go.
So as Pensacola barrels towards this holiday showdown, it leaves us with this huge question that goes way beyond just one city or one show. When a venue is owned by the public, who actually gets to draw that line between art and obscenity? Is it the government? Is it the artists? Or is it the audience with their wallets? That's the real question here.